Are you addicted to gay porn? Hey guys, Michael Pasulo here, psychotherapist in West Hollywood, working mostly with gay men. So most people watch porn, most men watch porn, most gay men watch porn, but we've gotten to a place where a lot of people feel like their relationship with porn is problematic, compulsive, or even addictive. So I want to give you 5 clear signs to help you discern if you are a gay man who has an issue with porn. And again, this is not meant to shame anyone or to suggest that there's something wrong with being aroused by certain imagery or videos. And we live in this day and age where, thirst traps are everywhere and, porn seems like it shows up just anytime you go on the internet or social media. But I really want to hone in on the fact that some gay men really do get caught up in something when it comes to porn use that really can take over their life and become problematic. And I want them to know that there is help, but to give them a few guidelines to think about first. So the first thing about to decide if you think you have a problem is thinking about obviously just the time you spend watching it. That's pretty simple. If you notice it's going from an hour a week to 2 hours a week to 10 hours a week, that's a clear sign. So thinking about the amount that I'm consuming is just the most easy symptom. The next thing would be the intensity. So what we find with people who have porn addiction issues is that they have to keep watching more and more intense content. And what's interesting about that is that they often end up watching things that they're not actually interested in sexually typically, but in order to get this high from pornography, they have to keep upping the ante. So that can actually lead them to end up watching things that even can disturb them or just they're confused by. So that's another really clear symptom that something is going on. Another easy one is just that you find that you're watching it at inappropriate times, rather than at home in the privacy of your own space, you're watching it at work or even in public. If you notice that you're just finding yourself checking it at times that are really not ideal, that could, maybe even get you in trouble, that's another pretty easy symptom to discern. Another one is if you really get into compulsive porn use, often that goes hand in hand with masturbation, literally. But some men who are watching compulsive porn for a very long time will actually end up injuring themselves through, just long-term masturbation. So that, again, is another sign. If that's happened to you, that's a pretty clear-cut indication that something's going on that's compulsive or problematic and you want to take a look at and get help with. And then the last one would be if you're experiencing erectile dysfunction with real sex. So a lot of people that get too accustomed to watching porn, they have no problem getting an erection or orgasming when they're being exposed to sexual videos, pictures, things like that. But what happens is they train their brain to orgasm with visual stimuli. Then when it comes to real life sex, they often find themselves struggling and, with an inability to maintain an erection or an ability to orgasm. So if you notice that happening, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a porn addict, but it could mean that your porn use has gotten, substantial enough that it's interfering with, real life sexual encounters, which ideally I think should be prioritized, right? So that's another clear symptom that something might be amiss. And I want to caveat that when I say gay porn addiction, I really think that there's not much difference between a man who's straight and a gay man when it comes to this issue. But I would say though, if you are struggling with this, you're going to want to get help from a mental health professional who deals with compulsive porn use because that's rare. But also make sure that you get someone who is either gay or just very LGBT affirmative, because there could be just certain nuances to the content that you're watching that they're not familiar with. They're not familiar with apps. You may even reference different, porn actors or studios that a gay man may have a reference point to know what type of content you're watching, whereas someone who's straight just won't. And those are really important nuances to know. When you do porn addiction work in therapy, you're gonna wanna go over like the specific details of what you're watching, how often, when, and those are things that often gay men just don't feel comfortable doing with a straight person for a myriad of reasons. So I'd really encourage you to find a gay therapist who can help you if you're struggling in this area. I would also say as well, if you're struggling with compulsive porn use, that there's something wrong with you. You know, men are aroused through visual stimuli, and we live in this day and age where it's just everywhere. So we've entered in this, you know, new realm and new world that is problematic for men in particular just to navigate because of the way that we're wired. So I hope this was useful. If you identify any of these symptoms in yourself, know that you're not alone and you can get help. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments if you've struggled with this and things that you've done to overcome it. The next video I'm gonna split it up where this is about the 5 symptoms, and the next one I'm gonna talk specifically about treatment and ways to get better. So I hope this was useful. If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, comment below, let me know what you think. And if you want to talk to me directly and need some help, I'll put a link in the description where you can book a consult with me and we can work together if you would like to. So thanks guys.